From sake bugs, believe it or not, to modern horror stories, surprisingly, and kick-ass drummer. Hello, Magi here, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Touhou Facts, the series where I talk about facts from Touhou that I find either fun, unusual, or simply interesting. So without further ado, let's begin the Interesting Touhou Facts number 68. Number 5. Let's focus on our never forgetting author, as we don't talk about her much. And I'm sure we got some Raikou fans here. Probably. So for those not familiar with Raikou, she is the current child of Myr. The child of Myr are the authors for the Gensokyo Chronicles. Fancy ass name for one who writes shit. Anyways, they are born into the Hiria family every 120 to 180 years with the ability to not forget anything she sees and records Gensokyo's history. I'm not too sure why the cutout is every 120 to 180 years, but let's roll with that. Raikou seems to like red tea, which is fine, and FM synthesis music or frequency modulation music. That sounds fancy. Let's not forget that she likes to write mystery novels too, as shown in Forbidden Squirrelry. I wonder what the next novel will be. Number 4. Shamemaru, for those not wary, is an inchling. Given the name, you can imagine her height will be that of an inch. But she wasn't always that short. If you fought her in her first appearance in DDC, you'll notice that she's much taller than an inch. At the most, she's the same size as a young child. Unfortunately, that was due to the Miracle Mount's power, and it's shown in several endings that she's only a few inches tall once the powers were gone. It appeared that her small size gained her some benefits, sorta. Okay, probably not, but hear me out. So after Shamemaru was defeated and small again, Raikou realized that Shamemaru could face harm in this state and provided her with a small cage for her to lodge in whilst the mallet was recharging. While it's nice and all that Raikou is taking care of her, was a cage really necessary for her? She's not a pet, although that's debatable with her size. She eventually returned to her castle, but it seems that she is a regular lodger at the shrine and the two get along well. Even though you were caged like an animal, for good intentions anyway, you guys appear to be friends, and that's the important part. Number 3. Sarika is an oni, meaning she loves to drink. And you know what's better than drinking? Having an item that gives you infinite sake! A little hardcore, but let me explain. Sarika has a gourd called the Ibiki gourd. How creative. I shall name my computer the Magi computer. Anyway, this gourd contains a sake bug capable of turning water into sake. What are you? Yokai Jesus? Wait. No, that's Byakuran, my bad. To prevent it from overflowing, the gourd has a stopper on it, and she can't pour out more than the gourd will hold at one time. That makes sense, but still, that's one awesome gourd. Let's talk about the bug, as it's kinda important since it's making the bloody sake. The sake bug, or shuchu, is a companion of the oni created by a crystallization of their technology that is able to turn small amount of water into sake in a night. Whoa, I was not ready for that. The sake created from them has a complex and somewhat unrefined taste. They can exist in large vases or their extracts used in gourds such as Sarika's. The sake bug looks like a catfish-like salamander. I wonder how much Zune would kill for a creature that would give him an infinite amount of beer. Number 2. So, Gensokyo, with its strange and unexplainable creatures, I don't think you would be surprised if ghost stories were told, correct? Well, there's a ghost story that was mentioned in Gensokyo that I want to discuss. So, in chapter 43 of Forbidden Squirrelry, the girls are talking about ghost stories and Mamizo brings one up. She explains that 4 young people are going on a drive on a mountain pass. Right off the bat, you can tell this might not go so well considering Mamizo just mentioned driving, which is mostly done by cars, and the girls there are not wary of what it is. So Raikou tries to put it in the dots for Mamizo's story due to her ignorance of the outside world. The car transformed into this, which is understandable. The story continues on with them driving in this road. Apparently, they got a used luxury car for cheap. Once more, Raikou tries to picture it. Close, but so far. Mamizo then starts to mention the car navigation system and its function, and Raikou tries to picture it. I gotta say, the GPS is much more alive than what I'm used to. Simply put, the path they were going was not safe and the headlights weren't working well. Feeling unease from this, the 4 people go out and checked out they were near a cliff. As they got back into the car, it said, "But you were so close." And we get mixed reactions. Raikou thinking it's a bad guy, Marissa is confused, and Kozuzu, while confused, found it scary still. And Yomu, who probably didn't know what the fuck was going on, was still shitting her pants. Skirt, more like it. Glad to see she's still scared of ghost stories after all the time from my character profile. Now, to be honest, the story is chilling. The idea of my GPS leading me to my death is horrifying. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the same effect for the girls due to their lack of knowledge. Minus Yomu. She'll get scared of fucking anything. Number 1. So in my last episode, I talked about how Benbei and Yatsuhashi were approached by Raikou and she explained the situation and how to get out of it. This time, we'll be talking about Raikou herself. Raikou was born from a taiko drum that had become a tsukumogami through age, but because she was frequently used and enjoyed use, she wasn't a vengeful tsukumogami. Not being a vengeful person is always a nice thing. During the events of DDC, Raikou noticed a strange power into her body and a desire for revenge against those who used her. Well, so much for not being vengeful. Despite her ferocity, Raikou soon realized that the new power she felt was from Shamemaru's use of the miracle mallet, and that it would not last forever. Fearing that she would lose her newfound freedom when she ran out of power, she quickly worked to finding a suitable replacement for it. Taking a rather large risk, she abandoned her old taiko drum for a new drum kit and drummer, cleansing her body of the miracle mallet's power and making her self-sufficient while claiming that her new power is from the magicians who live in the outside world. Well, that solved the mystery when I asked how the girls were receiving this power. She taught this method to the other temporarily empowered tools such as Benbei and Yatsuhashi, ensuring that they would be able to keep their freedom when the miracle mallet's power dissipated. Since then, she has supposedly been working with her fellow Tsukumogami to create a paradise for tools to live freely. While that's cool and all that, there's 2 things I want to make note of. It mentioned magicians from the outside world, which tells me there are still some magical beings outside of Gensokyo we are not aware. And the most important part is that after reading it, I spent countless hours researching something. In the end, I might have found the biggest discovery yet. Let me showcase to you the drummer Raikou had gained her new powers from. Okay, the last bit might have been stretching it entirely, but when the bloody hell am I ever going to show you someone playing Raikou's theme with taiko drumsticks? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Which facts were your favorite? Would you love to have a gourd that gave you infinite sake? Did you think Raikou's imagination on the GPS ghost story was on point? Or do you think CDG drumming was indeed the drummer Raikou was talking about? Like always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and subscribe. Or else my iPhone will try to give me some wrong directions, which could end up killing me. Either way, this is Magi and thanks again for watching.